4.0 with a toddler on my back and in my ear. So I think that Teresa, my wife, understands that this class is going to require more thought
Yeah, a lot of
than
time.
anything else I've done. This is that for those other students, this is the hardest set of classes you will have in your doctoral program.
I hear that a
And
lot. Yeah.
it is, and just because American education is not really geared toward, it's not math centric anymore. It's not,
No.
we're told constantly that algebra will not be used when you graduate high school. How do you
Well,
know
and
that?
especially not statistics. Statistics aren't really taught very well at all.
No, and that we see that every day from the lectern in the Rose Garden or wherever the president is speaking from. And if you
Yeah,
go on Facebook, you see that statistics are really.
all the time.
There's
Yep.
a whole video you gave us on why statistics are important, and they're talking
I
about
did.
the wrong
Yep.
of statistics.
Yep. And we see them every day. All right. Well, it's 5:01, so let's get started. Let me reiterate, because we had a great question earlier about groups. Well, first of all, you guys can see my screen, correct?
No.
Okay. So
Yeah,
other
we can
people
see it.
can. So if you can't see my screen, something's wrong because I'm sharing the
Okay.
screen right
I got
now.
it. I got it
Okay.
now.
Okay, good. All right, so let me go here in the class and talk about the groups. I'm not gonna force you guys into groups, so anybody who wasn't here when I was talking about it earlier, the school has these things in here where they want you to be in groups, and I know it talks about it in the syllabus, and I know that for some of your assignments, it talks about evaluating your group and turning in a group evaluation form. You will not be doing that at all in this course because I don't think it's reasonable to try and force you guys into groups with your busy schedules. I do, however, highly encourage you to work in groups. I support you working in groups. And if you can find people that have similar enough schedules to you that you can work with, great, go for it. But it's not mandatory. This lesson is being recorded, as are all of them, as long as I remember, and I'm getting better at it. And as I said in emails and announcements, you've got this lovely Google Drive here folder with all sorts of stuff. These are the two old classes, the last two classes I ran, and if you open them up, you'll see recordings for all of them that I didn't forget to record. So you can always look at those if you want to work ahead, and you want to get some help, because every week what I do in these sessions is I basically do a little mini lecture, talk about the theory and the stuff that we're talking about for that week, really short, usually 10 minutes at most. And then really spend the whole time just going through questions. People go like, okay, I don't know how to do number 13 on the homework. So I'll bring number 13 up, we'll talk about it. I'll open up SAS, I'll show you how to run it in SAS. And 99% of the time, I even end up giving you the complete answer, right? So you can get a lot of the correct answers just from watching the videos. Because really, in all honesty, I would really like to be able to grade all of your homeworks by just going, oh, they're all correct, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, and moving on. Because the grading part to me is not what's important. It's you guys understanding it, right? So I want you guys to work on the homework and then come to these sessions prepared with questions and go, these are the ones I'm still having trouble with, and I can help you correct those. So by the time we're done with the Thursday night session, if you've come to both, you should have 100% on your homework at that point. You should have it all figured out, and you should understand it all, and you've gotten all the answers that you need. You could pretty much submit it early if you wanted to, and I don't really even have to grade it. I can just look it over really quick and go, yep, these are all the questions, and these are all the right answers. Because we talked about it in session, and blah blah blah. So to me, the importance of the homework is that you do it for the practice. And you understand the concepts. The grading of it is just necessary. So with that said, come with those questions, right? Come to class with those questions so I can answer them so that you can get 100 on those homeworks. But anywhere that it says you have to evaluate people in your group, just ignore. Also, turn it in. There's some weird things with turn it in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You're supposed to basically submit your mini project to turn it in, and your final project to turn it in, and your critiquing of a research article. Those are the only 3 things you have to turn in to turn it in. If any of those aren't working, you know, like sometimes the link for one of them doesn't work, then you can always try and just turn it into one of the previous links. But I don't really worry too much about turning it in. I don't think you guys are going to be plagiarizing stuff. So if your turn in link is not working, don't panic, just submit and then we'll figure it out later. As far as homework is concerned, I have this lovely little folder here with all of the homework questions in it, right? So every week I've got all of the homework questions copied out of the book in one nice little Word document for you. So you don't have to go and hunt for them in the book yourself. You're more than welcome to just,
Thank you, that's
download.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it'll save you a lot of time where you can just download these and then just answer them. And by all means, you can download this Word document and then just use it and then just put your answers within, like here, and put in some spaces and put your answer and go from there. So that's fine however you want to use it or don't use it. But I tried to do a lot of things to help save you guys time, right? I've got copies of the PowerPoints for the 5 weeks that come with the course. I've got all the data sets are all right here by the weeks and then the projects. So instead of trying to take them out of the classroom, they're just all here. So in week 2, these are all the data sets that you'll need for week 2. So you can download those to your computer and then upload them to SAS. Let's see, what else do we have that's important? And then of course the SAS stuff, there's loads of really important stuff in here. The user guide is very helpful if you want to look at that for helping you figure stuff out in SAS. But the number one most important thing that you guys are definitely going to want to bookmark and come back to often is the how-to summary. And I already opened it up in another tab. And what I've done is I've labeled it by weeks. So week 1, these are all the things that you're supposed to be doing in SAS, and I kind of describe how you do it, right? You need to create folders in the libraries, and then here's how you do it. You click through this stuff and you drag stuff, blah, 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 right? And okay, when we get into week 2, when you want to run frequencies, here are the menu things and then the stuff that you have to click on to get frequencies. And then here's how you do summary statistics. And then if there's anything that's, weird, I'll put some code in there. So for instance, SAS doesn't do multiple modes. And there's a question that has multiple modes. So in order to get it to report multiple modes, you have to use this code. And so I put the code there and you can just copy and paste it into SAS and run it. And don't worry about that now. We can talk more about that next week. But I want to show you that I have, examples of code for everything you need for every week. And if you guys come up with a better way of doing something, by all means, let me know. This is a living document. I added stuff to it just last term. I had some people, in fact, this code came from a student who figured out how to get SAS to report multiple modes, which I thought was awesome. So I added that code in. So it's all by week, right? So you can go back and figure out week by week, these are the things you need to do. And some things you can do through the menus, some things you can do through coding, some things you can do both. So that's going to be a really important thing for you guys to be aware of and use over and over and over again. Okay, so today for this week, what you were supposed to do is get enrolled. So hopefully everybody has got SAS Studio account. And once you have a Studio account, all that you're supposed to do is upload some data and then take a picture of that and submit that for your 50 points for today's meet session, right? So under the assignments, the Unit 1 class meeting, really all you're doing is submitting a Word document or a PDF or whatever, but with a screenshot showing that you were able to upload data into SAS. So if you haven't done this yet,
Dr. McBride, can I ask you a question? This is Cheryl.
always. Yeah, Cheryl.
So does it have to be, can it be any data set?
Any data set you want.
Any. Okay,
Any. I just want to make sure that you know how to do it.
perfect. All right, thank you.
Yep. So I would suggest, guys, that the first thing you do is you right click. So let me start from the beginning. When you first get into SAS and you click on server files and folders, you'll see this, and if you open up files, you'll only see this SAS user folder. That's what it creates by default. And there's really nothing in there. I like to create these two folders just to keep things. So if you right click on files, the files home, and do new folder, and then give it a name, it'll give you a new folder, right? So if I hit save here, you'll see that now I have new folder, right? And I'm not just going to delete that because I don't need that, right? Okay, so I created a folder called data files and another one called programs, because then if you click on data files, you can click this neat little button here to upload your data. And then you just say choose files, and then this is where you have to know where it is on your computer, right? You have to save it somewhere on your computer, go and find it, right? Double click on it so to open it, and then hit upload, and it'll put your data file in this folder. And as you can see, I've got all of them for the whole term because I've done this a million times. You don't need that. You just need at least one. And then I recommend creating a programs one, because when you do start doing programming, and you will at some point have to do some basic programming to get SAS to do the things that you needed to do, because it just can't do everything through its menus. You'll want to save those programs so you can come back to them later. I've got a program that makes histograms. I got a program that makes stem and leaf plots, right? I got all my probabilities. I think that's week 4. We do probabilities, and we use these simple codes to run probabilities, right? So if I just click one, right there's the probability of having 0 successes out of a sample of 20 when the probability of a success is 15%. That's what that from that code, right? It's a binomial. So I have all of that code, and all of these codes are in that SAS Word document that I talked about, this one here under week 4. You can see it all listed all through here. And they're all described, this says for one outcome, and this is, for outcomes of X or less, and et cetera, et cetera. But it's nice to save those things as a program so you can come back to it later, and it's just there in a little folder. So that's just my advice, because I'm assuming you guys are all, going to go on to 810. So you're going to, need to kind of do more of this stuff in 810. So it'd be nice to have stuff to work with. And then I'm also assuming that you guys are all going to be doing a dissertation at some point, and they're going to require you to do some sort of analysis within your dissertation that uses SAS. So again, you're going to want to keep all this stuff and make it easy for you to back to it. So when you go to do your dissertation, you go, how do I do that again? Oh, that's right, I have a program that helps me do that, and you can bring up the program, that kind of stuff. Okay, questions on how to upload data?
I just have a question on the data type.
Sure,
Is
it
it
has to
all
be
just
XLS.
okay? So no R.
No, it has to be an Excel file.
Okay, that's easy enough. Thank you.
I
Yep.
do have a question.
Go for it.
So the Excel file can be, do we need to add any data on it, or what should
So
be?
the Excel file needs to be in a certain format. So for instance, let me see if I can bring up one. So here would be the Excel file for exercise 3.1. This is like one of your first homework questions for week 2. All your Excel files basically have to have the variable name has to be in the first row, and then all of the values for that variable name have to be below it. And that's really the only rule. If you have any extra junk, it's just going to ignore it. So, like if this was moved down one, I don't think it's going to see this. It's not going to understand it. So you just need to make sure that the name of your variables at the top, and then the values are below it, and that's the format that you have to use for your Excel files. And all of the Excel files, except for the mini project, are already formatted properly. Is it the mini project or the final project? I can never remember which one has the where it talks about let's see. No, it's got to be the final project because it talks about probability. Let me see. Part 1 data. Yeah. So this is all honked up. This is your final project part 1 data. Of course, this is stuff that I've calculated. When you guys get it, it'll just look like this. But if you tried to upload this, it wouldn't work because of this extra junk up here. You basically have to delete that row and then upload the data. I would also highly suggest that you rename these 3 variables so that they're not the same thing. You don't want 3 variables all called probability, right? This should be like fam prob for number of families probability, and this should be freights prob, and or I guess this is number of families per parish. So this should be parish prob, freights prob, and family prob, you know, that kind of thing. But that's the only one I can think of that is not in good shape, you know, when they give it to you. That's the way they give it to you. And I think the data that I have, I've cleaned it up for you already. If you go to my data files, my data sets. So here's final project data file, part 1. Nope, I didn't clean it up for you. So you still need to delete that and rename some stuff. Okay, what else?
Okay, I do have another question. So how do I get, we get the drive, the Google Drive? Do we have the link?
Yes.
Let me go back to where.
So if you go to the course and under announcements,
The announcement, okay.
you know, right here, Google Drive access.
Google Drive access, okay.
And
And
then this takes you to the folder.
I don't see that one. Okay, I got it. Okay. So under announcement. So how about the SAS? The same thing in installing SAS?
So the SAS Help, if
Yeah,
you
I
click
see
on
that.
this one, it just brings you to the SAS Help folder in the Google folder.
Okay.
And then I've got hyperlinks to some of the documents that are in that folder. But it's basically just taking you to specific things that are already in that Google folder. Let's see. The meet session times, of course, you guys have all figured that out. Here's the Doodle link. We don't need that anymore. But now I put the weekly meet sessions one here, and this is the information to join either tonight's or Thursdays, right? It's the same meeting ID for both.
Okay, got that one. So to get to the SAS on demand on the SAS Studio on the top part.
Yep.
So yeah, to get not this one, where we can import the data files.
Right. So you just want to go to welcome.oda.sas.com and then log in. So you have to have a login. If you haven't already done that, there's a thing in the SAS folder that shows you how to get an account. Where is it? I think it's under this brochure.
Dr. McBride, I've got a quick question.
Sure.
So I actually downloaded the SAS University edition and installed it on VirtualBox on my Mac. Can I run that locally and be okay? Or do I need to run that on the cloud version of SAS? Am I going to be missing anything?
I honestly don't know because I've never played around with that one. I got to imagine that the interface is going to be quite a bit different. And so, for instance, when we talk about clicking on tasks and utilities, and then, you know, going to, let me close these so they're not, you click on tasks, and then you click on statistics, and then summary statistics, because you want to run summary statistics on your data. Your interface might not look at all like this. So that would be my only concern. Because then when I show you how to do something in SAS On Demand, it's not going to help you at all with yours. So what I would suggest is just opening yours up, if you have it with you right now, and making sure that it looks like this, that you have this task and utilities tab, and you have, you know, what looks like these things under it, because this is really all we use in here are these various stuff. You know, we're in statistics a lot, we're in graph a lot. I think we do some, that's pretty much it. I think those are the only two we mess around with in this course. So make sure that the interface looks the same. If it doesn't, then I would definitely go and get a SAS On Demand account. It's free and it works on any machine because it's web-based, so it doesn't matter if you have a Mac or a PC. So for, you know, for ease of everything, I would say your best bet is just to go do the web version.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just going to make it a lot easier on you if you do that.
Yeah, so we have to create an account. We cannot use a Franklin username and password, right?
Yeah, you have to create an account.
Dr. McBride, this is Michelle. I created an account, but there's nothing available. It says I have no course available. Like, where are you getting to the screen you're at? Like when I log in?
Well, you create an account and then it's supposed to send you an email.
It did, and I verified the email and I log in. Are you going through applications here, enrollment, or courses?
Applications. So if you click on applications, it just should have SAS Studio here as an application.
Okay, let me see. Maybe I clicked on the wrong.
Yeah, there won't be anything under courses because I haven't created a course for you. There won't be anything under enrollments. It's just under applications. You should see SAS Studio, and when you click on that, it'll open a whole new tab with SAS Studio in that tab.
That option is not there for me. Do we have to use a different browser? Maybe, I don't know if, do we have to use IE? Because I'm on Google Chrome and I don't see this application enrollments and courses.
I'm using Google Chrome and that's what they recommend. So if it's not coming up, it sounds like maybe you're not enrolled properly.
Well, no, I mean, on the site, I don't see those options.
You don't see applications, enrollments, and courses?
Yeah, I see current events, notice, and just username and password. Let me see. Let me change a different browser.
When I clicked on applications, it opened up to where you're at, Dr. McBride. So I was just selecting courses thinking that's where my material was going to be. So thank you.
Yep. Are you talking about this is what you see, Yo?
Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, so you need to click on accept.
Accept, yeah, okay.
And then click on sign in.
Yeah, it would not take me anywhere because I don't have any account.
Oh, well, you need to create an account.
Yeah. So where do I get, where did that step done? Maybe, okay, don't have a SAS profile. I'll probably have to create a SAS profile.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, you have to create a SAS profile. Yep.
Thank you.
I'm currently trying, this is Jazzery. I'm currently trying to create one, but it says they're experiencing technical issues. So I went through the Google Drive link that you have, the one that's in SAS stuff.
Yeah.
And went through that one. So based off of that one where it says you're not registered, even though the screenshot looks a little bit different now, when you put in your information and you accept, and it tells you to create the profile for, I guess, the next portion, which is where the email link is supposed to be sent to you. At that point, that's when it says it's experiencing technical difficulties.
Okay. All right.
I think that one of the options is SAS expertise level. I don't know, maybe if that makes any difference. I might have to novice, intermediate, advanced, not a SAS user, maybe. Let's see. Okay.
Well, this should walk you through it of how to do everything. I mean, the pictures might look different because they've upgraded everything, but the link should still be good.
Got it.
Right?
Yes, the link is still good.
The problem is they don't have a not registered or can't sign in, right?
Yeah, it's separated. It's a I think the password is first, and then it says not registered is listed second.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I can't get it to look like that because I already have one. And I can't seem to log out enough for it to do it. I have to like clear all my cache and cookies and things. But yeah,
You can
once you
open
get,
up. You can open up an incog window.
oh yeah, that might work.
Hey, I got a problem. I don't even have a Google Drive anymore.
You don't need it. You just need access to the internet. Google Drive is like a website.
No. I mean, you said on your class, the way it's set up,
Yeah,
you did have a link to a Google Drive where you had some stuff stored, but I don't even see that anymore.
it's right down here. It's under announcements. It's at the very bottom, so you have to scroll
Oh.
down maybe if your screen's too small.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. All right, let's see if that'll work. Wow, someone's getting shot at. Oh yeah, don't have a SAS. Well, no, that's what it said before. Don't have a SAS profile.
Like,
And then
yeah.
create profile. Yeah.
So the last one, I think one of the SAS expertise level. Sure, it's a different. Okay.
Affiliation with SAS would be student, SAS level, or you can choose anything you want. They just, this is just for their own,
Okay.
yeah, it's just for their own data.
Okay.
And then you agree to the terms, and then you create profile. And then an email will be sent to you.
All things nerdy, huh?
Yes, that is my that's my online business.
Does that mean that you're a little bit of a Whovian?
You know, I never really got into Doctor Who that much. I'm a big, huge Batman nerd, as you can tell from my desktop.
I just got all my Batman gear for my cosplay for Batman the other day and discovered that I'm insulin resistant, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So I'm calling that costume Fat Man. I'm what Batman would have looked like had they let Adam West play Batman in 1989 instead of Michael Keaton.
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
He was devastated about that, by the way.
Yo, I know. Yeah. All right. Anybody else having problems getting their account set up and all that stuff?
Dr. McBride,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Nicole. I just wanted to clarify. So for the screenshot, you said just we're able to upload, just to be able to show that we're able to upload data, and it can be any data set. Is that what you were saying?
Any data set. So all I want to see is, so let me open up mine. New. So all I would want to see is, your data file somewhere, right? So you come over here and take your snipping tool and just grab that, and that would be enough.
Okay, thank
I
you.
go, yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, guys, please learn how to use a snipping tool, because, for instance, when we do probability, well, basically when we do anything, but I'll just do probability as a simple example. So let's say you had to run this. And you need to, put that in your Word document. Please, for the love of God, or Shizmu, or whoever you want to pray to,
Using that, yeah.
is just get just the output, not the whole darn screen. Because if you do this, if you do the control whatever, which does an entire screen grab, right? And it's basically the equivalent of doing this. And you take that screen grab and then you go over to Word and you put it in your Word document and then you submit it. All right, so here's my Word document. Okay, and then I'm gonna paste it in there. Really?
Imagine if you have two screens too.
Yeah. So exactly. I'm pushing. I'm late 40s, guys, and I've got the eyes of an 80-year-old man. There is no way in hell I'm going to be able to read this. So please, 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 take screen grabs of just the important stuff. Just this, right? Figure out how to use your snipping tool. The snipping tool is very easy to use in a Windows machine. If you have a Mac machine, I know they have a similar tool where you can take shots. You can basically highlight a certain area and it takes a shot of just that instead of the whole page. So please, please, please do not use the print screen option that takes a shot of your entire screen. You have to take pictures of dedicated pieces of your screen. Otherwise, everything just gets way too small.
You've learned a lot since the first class I had with you.
Yes, I have.
This is so much easier than the last time.
Good, good.
So much easier.
We're both getting better.
There's so much. Yeah, well, I'm almost done now.
Yeah. It's. I've tried to set it up to make it really easy for everybody with all the tools and stuff in there, so it should be pretty easy. So as you're working ahead, feel free to just send me copies of your homework if there's some stuff that's still giving you trouble, and I can look it over. And that goes for everybody, guys. If you want my feedback on something, if you want me to look something over and check it before you submit it, I need 24 hours turnaround time. So really, I would say you have to get it to me by Friday night at the latest, and then that gives me the whole weekend, because to me, weekend is halftime. So that gives me the weekend to look at it and send it back to you, and you can make whatever necessary changes you have before you have to turn it in, for the Sunday at night at midnight deadline for all the homework assignments. Everything is due Sunday night at midnight except for a couple things, except for the critiquing your research article. That's due on a Thursday night because those are discussions, right? It's in the discussion, so you're submitting them into the right here. You're putting them into, so you're basically creating a discussion post. So write it all up in Word and then just copy and paste it into here. And you need to do that by Thursday at midnight. And the reason why we make you do it at Thursday at midnight is because you'll notice that to get full points for this critiquing a research article assignment, not only do you have to do your initial post, but you have to do 2 response posts where you read your peers' post and their accompanied articles, and then talk about it, right? Do some sort of feedback. Well, you couldn't do that if everybody submitted their stuff Sunday, right? So all of your initial posts are due Thursday at midnight. So that gives you guys 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to go back and look at everybody else's posts and then pick one and respond to it. Try to respond to ones that other people haven't already responded to, if you can. You know, it doesn't do everybody good to everybody respond to the same one. So that's one thing that's turned in early. And then your final project is technically due on Saturday the 26th. This course technically ends on Saturday the 26th instead of Sunday the 27th. They do that to give teachers enough time to get everything graded, to get our grades in on time. But I am okay with giving you guys that extra day, and you can have until the 27th at midnight, that last Sunday, to turn in your final projects. Because you know your projects are going to be in pretty darn good shape, because you're going to be asking questions. I'm going to be giving you all the information you need, right? We're going to have meet sessions about it and all that. So it should be pretty easy. And while we're talking about final projects, that last week, so the week of September 21st, that last week, those meet sessions on the 23rd and the 24th are going to be when you guys are presenting your final project part 3. So let me just go to this assignment so you'll know what the hell I'm talking about, because I'm sure nobody has looked this far ahead, because why would you? I mean, really. So the final project has 3 parts. And let's just open this document so you can see what I'm talking about. Parts 1 and 2 are really, all right, fine, are really just more homework. They're just like homework, where they've got some data sets and you work with some data and you get some answers, right? So you'll have an Excel file, and from that first file, you'll answer questions 1 through 5 in part 1. And it'll be very similar to the homework that we've done recently, you know, like in week 5. And then same thing with part 2. It'll be based on some probabilities. And again, it's a second set of data, and those data files are all in the folder with all the rest. And you'll do a bunch of stuff, and then you'll answer some questions, and then you'll prepare a report summarizing your findings. Because basically what you're doing is you're looking at some judges and you're deciding, you know, which judge, you're ranking the judges, and you're going to talk about why you rank them the way that you rank them, and so therefore that's why this judge is better than this judge, and blah blah blah. So you're basically just justifying, because there's more than one way to rank them. It all depends on, you know, what you classify as a judge that's doing well versus a judge that's not. And that'll make more sense once we talk about it later, but kind of ignore that for now. What's important is part 3. In part 3, you're basically creating a scenario that is hopefully related to your dissertation, right? So you want to come up with some sort of scenario of a problem that is related to your dissertation. Think of it this way. Hopefully in your dissertation, there is a research question that you want to try and answer. Well, that's what part 3 is. When you provide a case scenario of a problem, that's a fancy way of saying, what's one of your research questions that you want to investigate? So here's my research question. Are men statistically taller than women? It's a stupid question because we know the answer is yes, but you get the idea, right? That would be my research question. And then I would describe, you know, the setting in a short background, describe exactly what you want to solve in this. Well, I need to figure out if men are taller than women. God knows why I need to know that. Maybe I'm, you know, designing clothes or something. Describe the type of data you need to collect. Well, I need to collect a bunch of heights from a bunch of men and women, right? Describe possible variables. Well, I'm going to have male height, female height. Are they continuous? Yes, because they're measurements, right? Measurement things are continuous. That's part of the stuff that we're going to talk about this week, is different types of data and variables. And continuous variables are measurements, and discrete variables are counting. Like, how many kids do you have? That's discrete because you count. How many times a week do you eat out? That's discrete. Anytime they ask how many, that's a discrete because you're counting, and then anything that's measured is continuous. So your height, your weight, your age, your salary, all those. I know you think you can count up your salary, but you're actually measuring salary because it can be dollars, it can be cents, and then it can be fraction of a cent. So really anything that can be broken down into smaller and smaller units of measure, that's a measurement, and that's a continuous variable. And then you're going to describe the methods that you're going to use to analyze your data, right, and blah, blah, blah. So basically everything that you're going to do here in part 3, that's what you're going to present as part 4. So that's what you're going to present during the meet sessions on the 23rd and the 24th. And we'll just have people sign up for which day they're going to present, and it's just going to be quick. I don't want you spending more than 10 minutes tops. You're just going to go through your scenario. Here's my research question. Here's how it relates to my research. And then you kind of go through the stuff. This is what I'm trying to figure out. This is the data that I'm going to need to collect. This is how I'm going to go about collecting it. I'm going to analyze it with these various things. I'm going to describe it with these various things. And then that's it. This stuff, part 6, we're not going to discuss part 6 because and we'll talk about this later, but basically you're just going to be describing the setup of your question, all the types of things that you would do in your dissertation. Because if you haven't started thinking about your dissertation, that's basically what you need to do with a dissertation, right? You come up with a research question, you come up with, why is it important? And then you come up with a way of researching it, right? What kind of data you need to gather in order to answer this question. And then you gather that data and you describe the techniques that you use to gather that data and any possible biases and problems that you have with your gathering. And then you analyze your data and you discuss your results, right? So all that stuff is kind of what this is doing, is getting you prepared to do that on a big grander scale. So that's what we'll be doing that last week, is just you guys will be discussing that. And then I can give you some pointers if maybe it's not working well. All right, so I think that's all the oddball stuff. Like I said, everything else is due at the end of the week. All right, so have I completely confused everybody, or are we all good? What do we have to submit in for this week? Great question. The only thing you have to submit this week is the screenshot showing that you've uploaded your data, and that goes into assignments. That gets submitted here under your Unit 1 class meeting. You will upload that screenshot, and that will, I guess if I did.
And you don't want us to just use Snippet on that, do you?
Well, you can, absolutely.
Okay, whatever is easiest for you.
Yeah, I mean, because that one, I just need to see that that you've uploaded data, right? So when you go to the, where the heck is it? The Unit 1 class meeting, and you would submit your assignment here, you just choose a file, right? And it'd be like a Word document usually, because all you're going to do is take a screenshot showing that you have uploaded, right? That you have at least one data file uploaded, right? So you should see one little .xlsx or .xls if you've got the old style. And then that's saved, in a Word document or whatever, and then uploaded. So that's what you would do for the class meeting. That's the first thing you have to do this week. And then the other assignment you have due this week is your first set of homework. All right, your Unit 1 practice assignment. And just like the other one, you would submit it up here and you would submit the file. And that's where you're answering homework questions. And as I told you before and showed you, I have all of those homework questions already written out for you in a Word document or a Google Doc if you want to open it as a Google Doc, if you want to go that way, that have all the homework questions you want to do. Now, if you're going to do them yourself and you're going to look at them in the book, please pay attention to question 16, because in the book, question 16 breaks across pages. So it ends at the bottom of a page and you have to turn the page and the rest of these are on the other side. So you only get like, I think like A, B, and C or something are on one page, and then all the others are on the other page. And so many students forget to turn the page, and they turn in 16, and they haven't answered all these other bits and pieces because they were on the other page. That's one of the main reasons that made me start doing this, is because I wanted to quit, you know, get that to stop happening. So that's what you have to do for this week, is turn in the Meet One session, which is really just a screen grab showing that you've uploaded one data file, and then all of your homework questions for this week.
The homework questions, like for this week, you said it's fine if we just insert our answers into these documents, right?
Yes, absolutely. All I would ask is that you know, like make them bold or put them in a different
Okay.
color or something so they stand out, so I can find your answers really quick and I don't have to read the question 17 times.
And then if it's like for instance, on 16, how it's asking to identify like factors, do we need to write that out in the sentence, or can we just write
Oh no,
one
you
or
can
two
just,
words, whatever it is?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I think blocks, I think are hospital wards or something like that. You could just put wards, or experimental unit was hospital wards. One of those was wards, and one of them is
Mhm.
hospitals. You know, it's a lot of them are going to be just a simple 1 or 2 word answer.
Okay.
You don't have to get super wordy with these things, guys, especially in the homework beyond this one, where it's going to be actually more math stuff and not so much vocabulary. So yeah, you don't have to be overly verbose at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anything else?
And the week 1 questions is in our Google Drive folder.
It is.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
And this is due Sunday night, right?
Yep.
All right.
I would suggest with this one in particular that you guys get going on it ASAP and start posting questions to the Unit 1 doctoral dialogue. Right, the Unit 1 doctoral dialogue. So as you're going through those homeworks, start posting questions there so everybody as a class can start chiming in, because out of all of the homework sets, this is probably the one that people get more stuff wrong, because it's so vocabulary thick, and you know, it's not as cut and dry as, oh, calculate something, you know, calculate a mean and get an answer. It's, you know, it's an answer, right? These can feel subjective. So ask a lot of questions and I'll chime in and help out as well. But I want you guys to do it in the doctoral dialogue. Don't send me email questions, because I want everybody to see the question and everybody to see the answer. So I'm not answering the same question 12 times. And feel free to ask specific things. I mean, don't just go, hey, what's the answer to 2.7? I'm not going to, right? But, you know, here's what I have for 2.2. Am I on the right track? And I can go, yeah. Or maybe look at it this way. You know, that kind of thing.
All right, I have one final question.
Sure.
So for the final project, we're preparing for our dissertation. So if we were planning to do a qualitative approach, now for this purpose, we have to start a quantitative, like a survey or something. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if you weren't planning on doing any kind of quantitative analysis for your dissertation, first of all, I'm gonna have to say shame on you, because you should. But if you really aren't going to do any quantitative analyses for your dissertation, then just make something up. And it doesn't even have to be related to your dissertation. I mean, that part of the final project is really, the entire thing is just a made up, it's a brain exercise. It's come up with a research question and then think about how you would answer it, type of thing. Well, my thinking is, rather than doing that on just any topic out there, why not do it on a topic that's going to matter to you, i.e. your dissertation? So let's not waste all that brain power of trying to think through the process of working out a research question for just some arbitrary research question. Let's do it for one that pertains to your dissertation. Now, if you can't think of one that pertains to your dissertation that would be quantitative and specifically continuous, then fudge it. Just either make up one that is somehow related to yours that would also be a continuous quantitative variable, or completely make it up and it has nothing to do with anything other than, whatever, and that's fine too. But I would strongly recommend all of you really think twice about having a dissertation that does not have any quantitative analyses in it. Because I can tell you for one thing, if I was on your dissertation committee, I would not let that pass. And I'm sure there are others that feel the same way.
Hey, a quick question. As we're downloading SAS, and it gives us free...
You shouldn't be downloading SAS. You're not downloading SAS. You're not installing SAS. All you're doing is getting an account and then going and logging in online. So you shouldn't be I think that's the same thing that one of the other students did by mistake. You don't need to download and install SAS.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you just need to go to, that website that you get from this this link, and you go down where it says I don't have an account. You click on that, or I don't have a profile, and you fill out your profile and you put in your email address, and then it sends you an email to that email address. It can take a while sometimes for it to go. Just keep checking it. Check your spam folder because it might go to your spam folder. Once you get that, then you click on that to verify your email address, and then it should set you up with a profile, and then you can go and log in. And once you log in, then you just log in and it gives you this little SAS studio, and you click on that and bang, it looks like this, and it's just on the web. Everything is web-based, so you just need an internet connection. You don't need to buy anything and you don't need to install anything.
Okay. Let's see if that works. I created a profile, and
okay.
So
it should have sent you something to that. Whatever email address you use, it should have sent you something to that email address.
I got it.
Okay.
And
anybody else who's done can feel free to leave, guys, at any time. I had the people that already had to drop out, but and this goes for any of our meet sessions. You can always leave whenever you feel like you've got everything you need to get. All right, sorry, Les, go ahead.
I signed in. It just says hi, Leslie. Bunk, but I'm in this still SAS speed contact tracing webpage.
Okay.
And it says try SAS for free.
Okay, so share your screen with me, please. Down at the very bottom, there should be a little green button that says share screen on the Zoom window.
Yeah, here it is. Let's see which screen. This one.
Whichever one doesn't have the porn on it.
Ah! Oh God, they all do.
Okay, so
Here we go.
does this look familiar to any of you guys?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't look familiar to me either. Try clicking on those 9 dots. What does that give you? Up there at the top.
I'm not sure. Hang on a second. It just gives me, I can order a shirt.
Yeah, see, you're on SAS.com and you should be on welcome.oda.sas.com. So type that in. So go up in your menu bar and type in welcome.oda.sas.com. There it is at the bottom where it says login. Click on that one. See this? There you go. Click on that. Now put in the stuff exactly, and then click on I accept, and then sign in. Yep, United States. Submit. Your sign-in request has been submitted and is being processed. You'll receive an email with further instructions once this process completes. There you go. So you can X out of that, and then you'll get an email. And once it's complete, so bookmark this, go up and hit your little star at the top right. Go to the right. No,
Okay, I just,
oh, you did. Okay, there you go. And then perfect. And then so when you get that email, it should say, you know, like you've been approved or whatever. And then you can go back here and make sure you tick the little box that says I accept the terms. Then when you sign in, it should look like mine, where it comes up with applications, you know, and underneath applications, it's SAS Studio, and you click on that, and then boop, it opens up a whole new window with SAS Studio.
awesome. Thanks a bunch.
No problem. And if you don't get that email, you know, within a couple hours or so, or at least not by tomorrow morning, let me know. But either way, let me know that you're good to go. Or if you have more problems, for sure, let me know.
You can count on it.
Good.
I will let you know, and I will have problems.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Good night, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Yep. Good night. If anybody else has a question, you're free to ask. I didn't want to, you know, like say leave if you don't have questions.
Good night. Thank you.